Hi everyone, this is Tuplex, and welcome to a new series in Oxygen Not Included. We're in the automation pack. I don't know what version number it is. But anyway, we just finished a fun Factorio series, and I wanted to take a bit of a break before I start another one. So I thought it would be fun to do a different game for a little while. And some of the folks in the Discord were curious about this game, and I thought it would be a good idea to play it for a little while and let you see what it's about. I am by no means an expert in this game. I've never like finished it. You know, I think you have to launch a rocket in this one too, just like you do in Factorio. I've never done that, but I've gotten through a few hundred cycles before, and it's a pretty fun game. It's one of my favorites outside of Factorio, I would say. So I'll do my best. For those of you who know more about this game than me, I will certainly appreciate your recommendations and suggestions in the comments. And like I said, I'm not sure how far we'll get with it, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I'm going to start a new game. I'm going to go on survival mode, which I think is a little more challenging. At least that's my understanding. I'm going to do the default Terra location. You have different types of asteroids you can spawn on that have different biomes and different challenges, but I'm going to go for the standard, easier one. And for those of you who haven't played before, you essentially spawn inside of an asteroid with 3 duplicants, and you have to help them survive, and you can spawn additional duplicants later. And like I said, I think the ultimate goal is to, well, I don't know what the ultimate goal is. Launch rockets, I guess. So at the beginning, you can have some influence on the characteristics of the duplicants that you start with. And what I'm going to do is and you can re-roll them, and you'll get random characteristics every time. But you can also give them a focus, so that your re-rolls are more close to what it is that you're looking for. So what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to roll 2 diggers and a researcher. And then we'll add a few more dupes as we go along. I probably will not have more than 8, I think, in total. All right, so let's re-roll our first digger. So I'm looking for +7 digging. And if I can also get the positive trait of mole hands, that would be awesome. I'm not going to spend too much time. Whoops, I missed one. Increased strength, small bladder, I don't want. You also get a negative trait. I also don't want a mouth breather. That's one of the less good negative traits. This one's not bad. He has a bonus to machinery operation, and he can't do doctoring errands. That's fine with that. I shouldn't need too much doctoring if I'm doing things right. Quick learner is not bad. Let's see if I can get mole hands. Can't cook. Diver's lungs is good, but I don't want bottomless stomach because he'll eat too many calories. I don't want irritable bowel. I don't want yokel because they learn slowly. I don't want anemic. Mole hands. He's narcoleptic though. I don't think I want narcoleptic. Okay, he's a good cook. No. Whoops. Uncultured, mouth breather. Nope. The negative traits that I'll accept are squeamish. Okay, this one's pretty good. I'll take squeamish. There's one where you can't cook. I can live with that. There's another one, yeah, where you can't Okay, that's the one where you can't cook. Gastrophobia. Germ resistant. That's pretty good. Okay, and what should we name our base? Let's call it Tuplexia. No, let's not do that. I don't want to name it after myself. That's the Subterranean facility. There you go. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to pause it first off so I can take a look at the map. So I've got water up here, and I've got water down here. What I want to do fairly early on in the game is to combine all of my water into a single reservoir, which means I'll have to excavate and allow this water to drop down. So these three being all below me are going to make that fairly simple, because I can just excavate until all the water combines, and then I can drop this one down. And I'm also going to want a ladder that goes vertically. So I think if I make my ladder like somewhere over here, then then I'll avoid cutting into any of the water. But I do want to be close to the water because I need to access some of it right away. Okay, so I'm going to start by digging out in this direction, and we'll let them go at it. And then as soon as they dig, they'll start to collect some materials that I can use to build a ladder. Let's see. This looks like a good enough place for it. Okay, so I'll go straight down there. And I'm going to count, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so each level of the base is going to be separated by 4 tiles. Okay, and we can also clear out some space around the ladder. And actually, I don't have to do this right now. I just want to get over here so I can put in a pitcher pump to get at the water. Because one of the first things we need to do is build some sinks and toilets, which I'm going to do over here. Okay, and I'm going to hit tab to speed up time a little bit. Okay, now the sinks are in the medicine section, so I'm going to build 2 sinks, and I'm going to build 2 toilets to start with. And I'm going to put in a door and a couple tiles so that that's enclosed within a room, so I get the room bonus. Okay, so with this I have access to water. The sinks need to be loaded with fresh water. Now there's also polluted water on the map. You can't consume that, but there are other uses for it, which we'll find out later. Okay, and right now our oxygen is coming from these oxalite patches, so we don't have to start generating our own oxygen right away. Okay, so the next thing, now that I've got toilets coming in, I'm going to set the direction on these to the right. And what that means is that the dupes they'll wash their hands when they pass the sinks in that direction. So this way they come in to use the bathroom, they'll get some germs on them when they use the outhouse, and then as they pass back out of the room, they'll stop and wash their hands. If you leave it bi-directional, then sometimes they'll wash going in and they'll wash coming out too, which is kind of a waste. All right, so she's picking up water from the pitcher pump and delivering it to the sinks, so those are fully operational now, and we also have a toilet. Okay, and I think I'll build some beds on the next level up, I think. Or we could go below. That would require less digging, and they're more likely to get it finished before nighttime. But oxygen rises above carbon dioxide, and I want them to have a good oxygen supply when they're sleeping, so I would like them to be higher up. Alright, so we're going to dig out here, and then we'll put the bedroom up here to begin with. Okay, so I'll go to furniture. I'm also going to leave room for a door. And we'll put in 3 beds. Okay, now if I hit F11, you can see that I have a room bonus here. I have the latrine bonus. Okay, the requirements for that is that you have a toilet, a wash station, no industrial machinery, and between 12 and 64 square tiles. So 64 tiles is, since my floors are 4 high, 64 tiles would be a room 16 tiles wide. It's currently 8 tiles wide, 4 tiles high, so I can make this twice as big and still get the room bonus. And the bonus is that I get +1 morale when they're in there. Okay, and let's put... And what I'll do is I'll just put 2 doors, one on top of the other, here in the bedroom. That'll give us better airflow in and out. We want the carbon dioxide to escape so it can fall down. So you can see down here there's all the carbon dioxide is collecting at the bottom of the base and the oxygen is collecting near the top. Now in this case, I have all this open area as well, so it's a little too big for me to get the room bonus until I close that in. Okay. So what I can do is I can come up again and we can dig out. I don't want to dig up the oxalite though. Alright, but I can just do something like this. Alright, now here there's sand which falls down and it buries my ladder, so we have to dig that out. I don't want them to lose water access. Okay, so it's about the end of the day now. So they're going to stop and have a meal, go to the bathroom. And then they'll go to bed. Alright, so I'll go back to base speed. While they're sleeping, I want to set their priorities. So I'm going to set my 2 diggers to prioritize digging and building. And I'm going to set my researcher to prioritize researching. And I'm also going to give them a new work schedule. And in this new work schedule, they are going to have 1 less hour of downtime, no bath time, and they're going to have 1 less hour of sleep. Okay, and I'm going to move them all to this new schedule. Later on, when the base gets bigger, I'll have to give them more downtime because it'll take them longer to get back to this area to go to bed. But for now, we can reduce the downtime. And we don't have showers or anything, so they don't need bath time either. Okay, and then I'm going to adjust as well the default schedule. Let's see, so that'll be work. So new duplicants will get the default schedule. Like that. And actually, I'm going to shift this schedule by 1 hour. And that way we can prevent all the dupes wanting to go use the bathroom at the same time. Okay, they're not going to be able to get past this. Oh yeah, they can get past it. Alright, good. If you dig up the oxalite, it is slower to emit oxygen. Okay, so I've got a bathroom, I've got some beds, and soon I'll have an enclosed bedroom as well. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to start doing some research. Okay, so I'm going to dig out over here. And I am going to set up... actually, let's set up power generation first. So I'm going to put a squirrel cage there, also known as a manual generator. A couple of batteries, and we'll connect that with wire. And then next to that, I am going to put a research station. And we'll need to power that as well. And that way we can start doing some research and unlocking better stuff. Okay, now we started the game with nutrient bars. And as we dig, we find some buried muckroot and other things that we can eat. They're not considered tasty foods by the dupes, but they'll be able to survive on it. Okay. So if we click on this manual generator, one of the dupes will come and run on it once the battery charge drops below this threshold. I'm going to lower the threshold to 25%. And I'm going to give the generator a priority of 6. Okay, and now we can choose our research. So usually the first thing I do is I go for basic farming and meal preparation. Basic farming will allow me to plant crops. It'll allow me to build additional food storage, and meal preparation will give me access to farm tiles, egg crackers. We'll be able to build a mess hall, and we'll get an electric grill, which we can use to cook food. So those are the first 2 bits of research that I'm going to do. Okay, and then once we get that going, I'm going to continue to dig. Alright, so let's dig out this floor below us. I'm going to need to add a couple tiles there so they can get across. And I'll put some there as well. And we could probably start doing some of our farming down here once we get that first bit of research done. And then I can start planning to build a reservoir for my water. In fact, I think it might be a good idea just to build it around this bit here. Since this is lower, I can just dig through and allow these to drain into that one. But I'll have to make this deeper. Okay, so when they're done with that, let's extend our ladder down a bit more. And we'll start working towards that. Okay, so we got the first research done. I should be able to put in some planter boxes. So I'll just put in, I don't know, I'll put in that many to start with. And we could start growing some mealwood. And that gives us mealwood lice, which is, you can imagine by the name that it's probably not terribly appetizing, but they'll eat it. Okay. Alright, I can't dig some of these tiles because I don't have the skills yet. I need to get hard digging, but I don't have any skill points, so some of these ores I won't be able to build yet. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building a tank. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll build it down, build it down as far as I can. So I'm going to put a wall here, and then I'm going to put a wall here, and then I'll delete this one. so that I maintain this 3 tile wide space for my ladder. Alright, looks like it's the end of the day. So I'll just go to high speed here until they wake up. Whoops. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. I didn't want to do that. I'm just trying to make these notifications go away. Why is he going to the bathroom in the middle of the night? Now, once you can see on these sinks that there's a polluted water canister as well. Once that fills up, they'll empty it, and we'll have a big jar or a big bottle of polluted water, and it emits polluted oxygen, which we don't want the dupes to breathe. So before these get full, I also need to have a place where I can dump polluted water, where it's going to be out of the way and not contaminate the rest of the base. And the outhouses will generate polluted dirt, which will result in a similar phenomenon. The polluted dirt will drop on the ground and it emits polluted oxygen until you get rid of it. You can turn it into compost, but the compost also generates heat, and we want to try to avoid bringing heat. Wow. In fact, I can see we have a pretty warm biome right next to us. So I think we'll want to avoid getting into this red area. It's 45°C. Up here in the base, it's 22°C, which is very comfortable. The reason temperature is a problem, I mean, at very high temperatures, it'll hurt the dupes, but the main thing is that once you get above 30°C, for example, mealwood won't grow anymore. So we have to try to keep the temperatures fairly cool within the base if we're going to be relying on crops. And for the early part of the game, that's going to be pretty much our only source of food. So we need to be careful about that. Alright, and then I'll just copy settings here. So all the planter boxes will get mealwood. Now I don't have too many seeds right now. Yeah, in fact I don't have any mealwood seed except for a couple that I started with, so we'll have to continue digging and try to find more. Alright, and in the meantime I'll keep building my water reservoir. It's not super critical, I suppose, but whoops. Alright, so we'll copy settings, and that way as we find more mealwood seed, they'll be planted there. In fact, here's some right here, so I can go and dig this up. We can dig out over here. There's another mealwood plant that'll give us more seed. And there's a bunch down here too. So once we have better digging abilities. Okay, so now we can build a mess table. I think the next thing I'll do is power regulation and internal combustion. Power regulation gives us a larger battery, and internal combustion will give us a coal generator so that we don't have to lose labor running that hamster cage or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and then I'm also going to build another cot because we'll probably be getting another dupe fairly soon. And then I'm going to start excavating over here. And we'll put our dining facility over here on this side. Put down a few tiles there so we have a floor. The dupes generally like to have floors. Okay. So every 3 cycles, the printing pod gives you the ability to get a new dupe. Now on these dupes, you can't do anything with their traits. You just have to pick what you get. And if you don't want any of them, you can get a care package instead, which is material. Now in this case, it would be good to have a farmer, since I'm starting growing plants. So this guy has some farming ability, can also do researching and decorating. It's got 2 good positive traits, and tryptophobia means he can't dig. But that's a lot better than loud sleeper and bottomless stomach. So I think I'll take this guy, and he'll be our farmer. Okay, so we'll print him. Now the nice thing about new dupes is they always start off with a skill point. Alright, so I'll give him improved farming right away. He'll get a morale boost from that. We can give him a special hat to wear. And we'll let him tend to the plants. So we'll go to the priorities, and he will prioritize farming. And we'll prioritize ranching as well, which is what I want to move into as well. Although we might get another dupe later that has ranching skills. But improved farming 1 is a prerequisite for ranching anyway, so. Okay, and he's happy to have his new hat. Alright, so now he has his own bed. And then I will put in 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put in 4 mess tables, and this will be our mess hall to start with. Not a very good one. At some point we get a water cooler that we can put in there that makes them happier. But at least for now they'll have a place to eat. And once these doors get built, we will have, what is it? A mess hall. And then later on we can add a recreational building. There's a water cooler we can get, and when we do that, we'll have an even better one. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to modify this a little bit. I'm going to go 1, 2 tables, and then no table, and then 2 tables, and then 2 spaces, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then that'll be the other side of the mess hall. And you'll see why I'm doing that later. I'm leaving space so I can put in decorations and things so that their morale improves when they're eating. And then I'm going to put some food storage over here so we can start to dig out a space over this way as well. I'm going to go back to medium speed. When do I get skill points for these other guys? I really want to get hard digging so I can dig that out. No, I don't want to dig over there too much, do I? Alright, well anyway, the more we dig out, the more food and things like that we're going to find, so whenever I'm not sure what to do, I just queue up some dig commands. Okay, we got more research done. Here we go. There's the water cooler. Actually, let's do the water cooler and then we'll do advanced research because that'll give us the supercomputer. Because once we get into higher tiers of research, we'll need to do the basic research, novice research, and advanced research, which needs the supercomputer. So we'll get that queued up as well. Okay. Let's see, what do I want to do next? I've got a farm started. Oh, let's let's check our oxygen. So the light blue is oxygen. We've got decent oxygen pressure. Down here is where our CO2 is falling. And it's given me a note that I don't have an oxygen generator built, which is true. But I don't really feel like I need one right now. We could build an oxygen diffuser and put that right there. I guess we'll go ahead so we can stay ahead of it. And we'll connect that to the power as well. This will consume algae and generate oxygen for us at the cost of electricity. Okay, let's clear out there. I'm going to need a floor. I'm going to run ladder sections across. You can use ladders as kind of a floor for the dupes to move across. You can't put any machines on top of it, but the nice thing about it is that when they dig out, whatever they're digging will fall through so that you don't end up with tons of junk all over the floor. So what I want to do up here is I'm going to build a little pit that will collect CO2, and I'm going to put my food storage in there. And the CO2 will create a sterile atmosphere so that the food won't spoil, even if it's not refrigerated. Okay, so let's build that right here. No, actually let's not put it right there. I want to save room for my supercomputer over here, which I think is 3 tiles wide. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we'll build our food storage pit right here. Okay, and this is wide enough that I can put 2 of these ration boxes in there and still walk across the top. And then we'll put a coal generator here to begin with. That'll generate CO2. The CO2 will fall on there, and then once it's filled up with CO2, we can move the generator to another location. So why don't we go ahead and set that up as well. We'll put the generator, a jumbo battery. We'll connect those to power. And I want to run the power across here. I'm going to send it through the floor and connect it there. But when they build it through the floor, it's going to dig up that dirt, so we'll have to replace all that with tile. Now the reason I put it through the floor is because the wire has a decor penalty of minus 4.5 in a 1 tile radius. So if I put it in the floor, we'll have a decor penalty. Well, actually I think if it's in the floor, maybe there's no penalty. We'll see. But exposed wire will lower decor around it, and that affects morale in a negative way. So in cases like this, you can bury wires and pipes, or at least the small wires and pipes you can bury inside floors and walls and other tiles. Right, so this is the only problem with this storage pit. It kind of interferes with the floor below it. But what I'll do is I'll put some tiles down here. Oops. Yeah, in fact, let's tile all this too. Yeah, so that's enough room for my supercomputer, and then I think they'll be able to get by. I think they'll be able to squeeze down here and walk through. They need at least 2 tiles to pass through. And then the floor can continue over there. And then we can eliminate those ladder sections. Now these ladder sections I want so that they can walk across the top of the food pit. And let's pick our next research. Let's do plumbing. Yeah, I would like to get to I'd like to get to decontamination. So let's work our way there, because I want the deodorizer. The deodorizer will clean. It'll use sand as a filtration medium to clean polluted oxygen and turn it into clean oxygen. And once I start getting polluted dirt out, I'm going to want it stored someplace and have the ability to remove the polluted oxygen. Okay, and then the supercomputer goes there, like I mentioned. These wires could actually be under the floor now, but I've already done it that way, so I won't worry about it. And hopefully they'll still be able to walk through there. I'm not sure yet if they will. We'll find out. Yeah. Well, if not, it won't be the end of the world. I can always move the pit over. Let's just do that. Let me cancel this. Let's just move the pit over by 1 more tile. We'll remove those. Remove those. Put that there. Put another piece of ladder there. Okay. No big deal. And then we'll put our 2 ration boxes inside. Yeah, it looks like they can squeeze through diagonally like that, so it probably would have been okay. Alright, coal generator, jumbo battery. More electricity, so you can hook up electricity like that if you want to keep it under the floor. Alright, so now we have new boxes. We have to tell it what we want stored. For now, I want all this edible stuff, and I'm going to give it a priority of 6. Copy the same settings over to this other one. And when you give storage a priority, then the dupes will go out and pick things up that need to go inside there. So that way our food will get put in. Okay, and now we can place our water cooler. Put it right in the middle. The water cooler in the mess hall will upgrade it to a great hall, which gives us double the morale boost. Okay, and we're still waiting for more mealwood seeds, so we'll want to, well, we want to keep digging. But I'm going to wait until this stuff gets built. Let's see if we got skill points yet. Yes, we do. Awesome. Okay, so he's going to get hard digging. And we'll give him his hard digging hat. Nicola doesn't have a point yet. I don't know why. She's going to get advanced research. That'll allow her to use the supercomputer. And she'll get her science hat. They always get happy when they put their hats on. Okay. So now we can see that, Why do I still only have a mess hall? What do I need for the Great Hall? Mess table, no industrial machinery. Oh, I need a decor item. Okay. I don't have access to any decor items yet. Alright. So, before too long, I will be able to do a potted plant. Do I want to do that first? Yeah, let's do that first and get that done. And then I'll be able to put some plants in there, and that'll give us the Great Hall bonus. And then I'm also going to close this part off. Alright, and I'm going to go to my priorities, and I'm going to give this build a higher priority because I want to get that finished. Food shortage. Okay, that's not good. I need to find more food. So, we got to keep digging out. We need more seeds. Ah, here we go. Let's see, I'm going to dig across here. I'm going to leave a little bit of dirt in the way. Alright, let's dig up those mealwood plants. Oh, and now I have 16,000. Where did that come from? I guess that food shortage was a false alarm. Oh, okay. Good. Oops, hang on. So now we can build some flower pots. So I'm going to put one there, there, and there. Okay, and then we'll go back to the research we were working on, which was to get to decontamination. Let's see, how much coal do I have? I have 811 kilograms. That's not a whole lot. Where do I have more coal? That's oxalite. There's some coal there. There's a fairly large vein of coal down there. In fact, that's probably the best one I've got right now. So I'm going to build a ladder going down there so I can dig that out. I'm not going to dig this though because there's chlorine in there and I don't want it to escape just yet. Okay, and now we can decide if we want another dupe. Okay, we got some ranching, cooking, mouth breather. I don't want a mouth breather, so I'll use more of my precious oxygen. And this guy is a loud sleeper. I don't want that either. He's only got gastrophobia, but he doesn't really have any traits that I'm particularly interested in either. Tidying might be nice. We could use him for tidying and supplying. Yeah, we'll take this guy. Okay, so I'm going to add another schedule. Alright, so downtime is going to be there. Bedtime is going to be there. And then the rest is going to be work. Okay, so I'm going to move Bert and Frankie over there. What is this? Where's Bert? Does Bert have the morning stuff? Early bird. Okay, it doesn't have to be morning. He just wakes up feeling good. All right. And since I only have 2 bathrooms, actually what I can do is, let's move Harold to this one. I'll just have 2 on each shift, right? And again, that's essentially so that they all don't rush to the bathroom all at the same time. All right, so let's look at Frankie's skills. He's got machinery, science, and strength. All right, so we'll give him more strength for tidying. That'll make him happy. And then we'll give him improved carrying so that he can carry more stuff. Okay, and Nicola now has hard digging, so we'll give him his mining hat, and we'll give this guy his strongman's hat. And our coal generator is almost finished, which is great. Missing research station. Okay, yeah, I know. We still need to build that. Let's wait till we get our generator done. Okay. Now the generator will request fuel when the battery is at 50%. It'll request more fuel when it's at 50%. It doesn't have any fuel yet. And what I'll do is I will set, see the hamster cage has a lower threshold than the generator, which is good. And I'll give that a priority of 5. And I'll give the coal generator a priority of 6. So this way the generator should always take priority for power generation, and when that's not enough, then somebody will get on the manual generator. Okay, so now we can put in a briar seed plant. And that'll give us some morale. I'm also going to issue a sweep command to pick up all the junk on the floor, because that has a negative decor effect as well. Let's see if I got my upgraded room bonus yet. No, it's still a mess hall. I think I need to get a plant actually there. Oh, I need another bed. Okay, let's build a cot for our new guy. And let's extend the room. Actually, let's just go ahead and make this for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Door. Okay, let's dig all that out. Tiles across. Oh, I can't put that tile until that plant gets dug up. There we go. Dig that out and remove that tile. And then we're going to start sweeping up everything in the bedroom as well to get that clean. Now for the sweep to work, we need a storage space. So I'm going to deconstruct that food container. We no longer need that. Okay, we can see our generator is now running. And if we look at our gas overlay, we can see some CO2 starting to collect in there, which is good. It'll eventually fill all the way up. And since CO2 naturally sinks, it'll remain that way. Okay, so I'll let you planting commands for those other things. And then in this little space here, I'm going to put in some storage bins. so that they have some place to put the stuff that I'm telling them to sweep up. Alright, and let's replace that with tile as well. Another way to see that is if you go to the gas material overlay, you can kind of see a little bit better where the different gases are. Okay, now when I hover over the ration box, you can see where it says sterile atmosphere. It's kind of flashing on and off because we don't have a lot of CO2 in there yet, but that's the goal. Once it's completely full of CO2, it'll be a sterile atmosphere. Okay, now in these bins, we have to tell them what to accept. We'll start with everything. I don't want it to take polluted dirt, so I'm going to uncheck that. Everything else should be fine, and I'm going to set it to sweep only. And that means that the dupes will only put stuff in there that I've told them to sweep up. If you don't say sweep only, then whenever a dupe has time, they'll just start to pick stuff up and put them in storage. Which is not bad, but it takes a lot of labor, and I don't want them to spend their time doing that right now. Okay, and I'm going to put a couple tiles there again, just so the CO2 comes this way before it spreads out in that direction. And then we'll remove it later. Okay, and now that we can dig down here, we can continue to build our water reservoir. I'm going to need to remove that pitcher pump so that I can put a ladder here. Okay, the ladder goes there, and then we'll put the pitcher pump back, slightly relocated. Yeah, and okay, looks like he's getting ready to build that now. I want that to get built first, because we don't want to have a water problem. Okay, yeah, so you can see here I've got polluted dirt already. So what we can do for now, well, we have two options. We can either, let's see, I have the deodorizer almost researched. Okay, so one thing you can do is you can turn the polluted dirt into compost, and that'll turn it into regular dirt. The problem with that, though, is that compost generates a lot of heat, and I don't want to add any more heat to the base than I need to. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to put a storage bin there that will only accept polluted dirt, and then right next to it I'll put a deodorizer so that it'll clean up the polluted oxygen as it seeps out of the container. Okay, and I'm going to give that a high priority because I want that to get done quickly. Actually, I'm going to give these toilets and sinks a 6 priority so that they don't, because when they're full, they're out of order. And I want that to get addressed right away so that the dupes don't pee on the ground. Okay, and that research is almost done. Looks like I'll have to wait for the morning though. Okay, so that research is done, so now I can put my deodorizer right there. And let's decide what to research next. Let's do the toilets next. Sanitation. So we'll go through plumbing, and then sanitation. That'll allow us to build water-based toilets and sinks we'll have a water pump, so we'll pump water out of our reservoir to feed the toilets and sinks. And then polluted water comes out of them, and we'll dump that into a polluted water reservoir. Okay, so this one I'm going to set to take polluted dirt only. I'm going to give it a high priority because I want it to get picked up right away. And I'm going to give the building of this deodorizer a high priority too, because I've already got that purple stuff is polluted oxygen. There's already some in there and it's starting to float around the rest of the base. Okay, so now we can see the polluted dirt is inside the storage bin. Alright, so now that I have this second layer of wall in, I can delete that one. Okay, and now I have a deodorizer. As soon as it gets some sand, it'll start working. There we go. So this thing will kick in whenever there's polluted oxygen around it, and it'll clean it up. Alright, and now that I have a ladder in there, I can start digging out more space. Let's decide how big I want this to be. I think I want it to be 2 floors deep. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, that's 1 floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the second floor. Okay, so that's going to be the bottom of my water reservoir. And I don't know how wide to make it. I guess I'll make it this wide. Alright, so I have a lot of sandstone, but I'm going to start building it with... I'm going to start building the rest of it with granite. Because granite is stronger. Sandstone... I hear that if you have a lot of fluid, that a single layer of sandstone can break. Okay, and we don't want that to happen. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the ladder down. And I'm going to start digging out the bottom of my reservoir. Underneath it. And I'm going to fill this with a ladder in the middle. So as I dig out the rest of the reservoir, all the stuff will fall through to the bottom, and then I'll build the floor of it right here where this row of ladders is. And then it won't be, my water tank won't be filled with junk. Except for some of this junk that's already in this one, because I need to save that water. So whatever junk is right here, right now, that'll still be in there. But the rest of my excavation should be free of any junk. I think this will be big enough, maybe. Whoops, cancel. Is that going to be big enough? Yeah, I think it will be. Okay, so then we'll do more granite tiles up here. This will be the other wall. That's about as high as I'm willing to dig out. So we'll have some more junk from this. Fortunately, they can go in the water to get stuff out. It doesn't really hurt them. They just get cold. I suppose they can get sick if they're cold for a long time. They can get hypothermia. Alright, next research. So once we have that set up and we have polluted water storage set up somewhere, then we can start to work towards a nicer bathroom. What do I want to do next? Oh, I want to get smart batteries. Where are those? Smart batteries. Yeah, so we'll do smart batteries and then automation. That's a little bit better way than this. Because here the coal generator continues to run even when the battery's full. Whereas with the smart battery, it'll turn the generator off when it's charged, and then it'll turn the generator back on when the charge is low. Okay. Now if we check our gas again, this is good. We got a lot of CO2 in there. Yeah, you can see we've got about 1,500 grams of CO2 pressure. So you can see this says sterile atmosphere. So nothing will rot. And one of my sinks is almost full, so I should really get moving on at least a temporary place to put polluted water. No, I don't want it to be here because I don't want to dig into that chlorine yet, because I don't have any way to deal with chlorine right now. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Well, like I said, we'll do temporary polluted water storage. Okay, let's clear that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. 4 wide. We'll put a ladder down in there. We'll dig out the middle. And then we're going to put a bottle emptier right there. And I'm going to put a deodorizer right there, because the polluted water is going to emit polluted oxygen. And that way, if any of it escapes here, it'll get cleaned up by the deoxidizer. And then this bottle emptier is where they'll put the bottles of polluted water, and it can drip down inside this tank. And this will be temporary. Later on, we'll build a big polluted water reservoir, kind of like this one. And it'll be really nice. And then when I have that, I'll just put a pump in here and we'll pump this out and get rid of it. Okay, looks like I'm going to need another ladder on this side so I can get up here. We can dig all that out. We can dig that. This is actually not in contact with any fluids. That's not terribly good. Alright, so let's dig over here. We'll put another pitcher pump. Right there, temporarily, so we can still get water. That one I'm actually going to leave. We'll start to fill this up and the water should rise to the right level again. Oh, that can actually be sandstone tile. I don't need to use granite for that, but... Yeah, the supercomputer requires water, so that's why I can't do any research right now. Because I haven't got the water. And what is this? Ooh, there's bleach stone down there. I accidentally dug some up. The bleach stone emits chlorine. I think chlorine is heavier than CO2. Oh, crap. I broke through. Okay, well, we might as well just let it all out now. And I'll put a pump down here at some point and pump it back in. Here's more mealwood. That stinks. I was hoping to avoid that. Okay, well, now I can put in the bottom of the tank. And I'll leave room on this side so that if we need a bigger reservoir, we can build another wall over here and then break down this one and let it expand. Okay, so this bottle emptier we're going to set to take polluted water, but there's none on the map, so I can't see it yet. But once that sink gets emptied, actually I wonder if we can do it now. No, I don't think there's any way to force it to happen. Alright, let's see what we got here. Algae is good. Doctoring I don't need. I really want a rancher. I'll take the algae. I'm not really interested in anything else. Alright, and we should make this a high priority, because they don't have a water source right now. There we go. Actually, let me cancel all that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove every other ladder. And then I'll put tiles in the gaps so that they can walk across. And then I'll get rid of those ladders. That way the materials from the ladders will fall down and not be inside the tank. Oh, you know what? I should wait on this. I can clear more of this junk out. Oh, okay, these guys can't get out. That's a potential emergency. And they can't breathe. And I don't want them to pee in the water. Hurry up, guys. Get out of there. Phew. Alright, so I got a little bit of stuff stuck in there. Not that big of a deal, I guess. Oh, and we need a tile there, too. I guess I'm just going to leave that bleach stone in there. Okay. So now, I'm going to dig that up and let all this water flow into the tank. Dig out that bit of sand there. Alright, I'm going to switch back to sandstone tile. To dig over there. We'll dig all this out. It's all going to fall inside the tank, but yeah, not a big issue. And then this one, I'm going to dig straight across here and let that flow inside. But that means I will need to remove that bit of ladder and put a piece of tile there, so that the water doesn't fall through. Okay. Do I have polluted water yet? Yes, I do have polluted water. Okay, so now I can tell this to take polluted water. I'm going to give that a high priority. And then someone will get that polluted water thingy and drop it down in there. Okay, looks like chlorine rises above carbon dioxide. Now once that bleach stone gets covered with water, it'll stop off-gassing. Yeah, see, I can see a little bit of chlorine floating around the base now. Kind of a bummer. I hope nobody builds that tile while these guys are still down here. That'll make me angry. No, you dummy. Okay, now build it. There you go. Okay. So we'll dig all the way across there. And then when that's done, I'll open this up and it'll flow across and fall into my pit. Okay. And then we can get rid of that. Oh, we're missing out on research. Okay, automation wire. Actually, before that, I need metal refinement because I need refined copper to make automation wire. So let's do that one next. Insufficient oxygen generation. I think we're doing okay. Let's open this up a little bit more. The water in this game has an awful lot of surface tension. Or maybe these guys are just really tiny. Maybe that's why it looks that way. There we go. Now it should flow freely. And hopefully it'll still be below the level of this tile. Alright, and then there'll still be some water left on the ground here. We can mop that up. I'm going to have another bottle emptier right there. And that's so that we can put clean water in there if we mop it up someplace or get it from some other area. Okay, so this one is going to be water only. Okay, now we'll do the... I might as well do the first two levels. We'll get sensors as well. Those will come in handy. Looking forward to getting my smart batteries. And these little creatures you see running around, those hatches, those are eventually going to be our food source. I might want to plant some more mealwood. We can do that with farm tiles. They work the same as these boxes, but they're only one tile wide instead of two, so you get a better density. Okay, and then we'll start mopping up the water. This is still too much water to mop up. We'll have to wait until it finishes flowing. And it also doubles as a floor tile. Okay. While we're waiting for that, I'm going to put a liquid pump down here. And then we will build a pipe. Whoops. That will come up here into a liquid vent. And that way we can get this clean water up into our tank. And that is going to need power, of course. There. Okay, can I start to mop that yet? Yeah, looks like I can. Some of it anyway. My pitcher pump is still not low enough. Now when I drop that water in there, then it might be. But until then, I need to move that down a bit. I'll put it right there. Okay, so that's all moppable now, so I'll go ahead and build the rest of this wall to close it in. And then we can mop that up and empty it with the pitcher pump. Okay, well, I think I'm going to stop here for now. Actually, let's just see if we have another dupe we can take on. Farming. Narcoleptic. I'll take the briar seeds. Okay, well, that'll do it for this episode. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. Let me know your comments, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.